Hello, everyone, and welcome to FTB Sports. This is your Manchester United transfer update, and we're joined today with Amonde. Hi, Amonde.
Hi, guys. Greetings, everybody.
We're joined by KOUNDÉ. Hello, KOUNDÉ.
Yes, how you doing?
Yep, and we got two special guests today, all things football. So can we welcome Ibs and Anton? Welcome.
Hello,
welcome, guys. Welcome. Absolute pleasure. Absolutely pleasure having you guys on tonight. So let's start off today, and we're going to go with the first couple of news, basically. So let's start off with Anton first. What do you think of the breaking news of Nicky Butt leaving the club before we indulge in the transfer?
I'm a bit on the fence with this one. One, because he wasn't really that high of a ranking in the club in terms of the first team development or whatever. But the description he gave of his departure was he didn't have that good of a relationship with I can't remember the guy's name that just came in. So someone that's been there, someone that was part of the class of 92, in a way, depending on how you look at it, being disrespected, I'm not too comfortable with, but at the same time, I'm not surprised given who's in charge of our club and who makes the decisions.
Good, yeah. And Ibs?
Yeah, it's a weird one because it seems like the club wants to keep the United DNA within the club, but having like Nicky Butt leave, it seems like they're a bit unsure of what their philosophy is at the moment. Because obviously they've recruited players who have used to played for Man U, but now Nicky Butt's left, so it's a bit weird.
Yeah, because apparently Nicky Butt wanted the technical director's job, which obviously Darren Fletcher got.
Okay.
So that kind of might have caused a bit of friction, or might have just been like, okay, I'm not getting a job anymore. I'm going to look elsewhere. And also, again, I can't remember the guy's name. He was friends with Ed Woodward at university, so it seems more like, I don't know. It's just Woodward up.
Can I interrupt you there, Anton? I called it Friends United. That's what I call Man United at the moment.
Friends reunited.
Yeah. It is. You get the ex-players from Manchester United that seem to be the hard-working. You get Darren Fletcher there. You got Michael Carrick, the guys that will run through brick walls. You won't get people like Roy Keane and Paul Scholes because they will talk their mind. They will call the club out for their wrongdoings. You're never ever going to see Darren Fletcher or Michael Carrick do that. And now that Nicky Butt's gone, someone who was part of the class of 92 that maybe doesn't get mentioned as much, I just feel like the actual Manchester United DNA is being replaced by people who aren't going to question anything that goes wrong, sort of puppets in a way. So what you just said, their friends reunited, is absolutely spot on for me.
Yeah. And KOUNDÉ, Mr. Positivity all the time around the club.
Well, I know Nicky Butt's been a part of the youth system, working with the youth for quite a few years now, and I think he was even there when Januzaj was coming through, and he questioned Januzaj's desire afterwards, said he had the talent but didn't have the desire and everything else like that. But I'm just thinking, all right, what was the progression? Obviously, he's been there for a while. Maybe he needs that. He feels that he's ready for some bigger and better things. Maybe he feels that he's ready to go into management or something. Because if you're saying the progression for him was about the technical director, what Darren Fletcher just got, that is a real kick in the teeth. If he's been doing all that work and Darren Fletcher's just come in and got that role, that is a kick in the teeth. But I haven't had a conversation with Nicky, but I don't know what his next direction is, what he wants to do. Does he want to go to management or something? Does he feel he's ready for a bigger challenge now? So I would understand the time would be to move on from that role, because you're not going to be in the youth role forever. He's got enough experience now. So let's see what he wants to do next.
Yeah. And Amonde, your full process about the whole situation?
I'm not part of the grapevine, man. Marvin Gaye thing. I really didn't know this. I didn't hear this news until you just announced it just now. So I'm just trying to process it in my head. So obviously you guys seem to have the lowdown what's going on. I'm hearing that there's at this high levels, friends, like you said, friendships, bringing this man and things. So I agree with what Anton said. Made some really good points about that. I like Nicky Butt. Always liked him as a player. I think his DNA is Man United. Always going to be Man United, and it's an asset to the club. I'm sure he was doing under 23s, wasn't he, for a long period of time, and he was quite successful. Well, he wasn't. There was an issue about success because bringing players through and all that kind of thing. So I think he's been successful. He's been there for a long time, like KOUNDÉ said, and it's a shame. I don't want to speak on it until I have more information. As soon as the show finishes, I'm going to do my Clark Kent research, you know, to find out what's going on. Because I can't really speak too much about it. But Nicky Butt, proper legend at the club, and I agree. You know, maybe he's a bit outspoken, or maybe there is some sort of personal thing going on there for us to get rid of him. Surely they can find a role for him. But as Kounde said, let him go and find a managerial job now, because he's done more than done enough groundwork, you know.
There was rumours as well about obviously Van der Sar coming in as technical director, and he had a look around the club. He basically loved the club, but because of the way the club's getting run at the moment, he basically refused the job. So we were apparently was going to get him, but he doesn't like the direction the club's going in. Yeah, and he didn't. We were going to get from Ajax, but he doesn't like the direction the club's going. And I think now that we're talking about in the summer just gone now, and now we're talking about Nicky Butt leaving the club. So for me, I've always sat here and I always say Glazers out all day long. And for me as well, when it comes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, please do not give him that new contract. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
So, guys, main topics today. We're going to talk about Manchester United transfers. And what we want to do is we want to indulge and look at these three players we're going to look at and think, if they come to United, could this be a title-winning team? Now, obviously, the manager, I don't have the confidence in the manager, but let's have a look, because we've been getting told all the time that we're only about 2 or 3 players away from title contenders. So let's start off with the first transfer we're going to look at now. Okay, let's have a look at the first one we're going to look at. So let's go to the defense. Now, Anton, let's have a look at this. When you look at the stats closely, there's not much difference in it. So would you actually keep Lindelöf in the club, or would you go and replace him?
I wouldn't get rid of Lindelöf. I would get rid of the lesser centre-backs like Phil Jones. First of all, he needs to go. He doesn't get spoken about enough, but maybe that's because he's been forgotten. I'd also, maybe controversial, get rid of Bailly. His injury record is just not something that's beneficial to us. And maybe we should get the money for him whilst we can. I would obviously bring in Jules Koundé to give Lindelöf competition, because we know Solskjaer, he's very stubborn. If Koundé came in, I'm not 100% sure he'd go straight into partner Maguire. So it would give Lindelöf the ideal competition to either help push him on, like we've seen with Luke Shaw this season, or expose what weaknesses we have, and maybe then Jules Koundé will go straight into the back. But if I'm totally honest, I think this is unlikely to happen. I feel that will be priced out of a move pretty quickly with our amazing work in the transfer market. I say that very sarcastically. As soon as they want north of 55 million for Koundé, we're probably going to go in for someone like Pau Torres or Badi Ashile from, I think it's Monaco. But I would love Koundé United.
Okay, and let's go to bits now. Let's find out your thought process on him. Do you want me to put the stats back up for you, or you're right?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Koundé, I think, as Anton said, Bailly, I've heard rumors that apparently he wants to leave the club because of whatever reason. He's obviously not playing well. He's not being played by Oli, even though he plays well. So having someone like Koundé come in to offer Lindelöf competition, because Maguire is not losing his place. Yep. And yeah, with Koundé, can't he also play in a central defensive role at sometimes?
Yes, he can. Yes,
because I've seen him play there. So that could be an option if we want to keep Bailly and maybe have him compete in both positions. But that centre-back partnership needs to be solid. We need to have a solid partnership at the back, and Koundé could provide that.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Mr. Positivity. Sorry, I'll keep calling you Positivity. Koundé. Let's go to Koundé now. Because I know you rate him. I know you rate this player highly as well, don't you?
It's me. I actually don't.
That's me.
I think that's on Monday.
On Monday, yeah.
Right. So my stance on the defensive thing, I do not think United have too much of an issue with the centre backs. I think all 4 centre backs are good, but I have had an issue with the partnership with Maguire and Lindelöf. I don't think that they make a good partnership. They don't complement each other's assets.
Yes.
And obviously, whatever centre back comes in has to be Maguire's partner. Maguire's the man. He's the captain. He's the 8 million That's, you know, 8 million price tag. He's not going to get dropped. My issue with Jules Koundé is that I think he's got good potential, but again, he's unproven, he's uncapped, and it's just like a lot of French defenders, like and all that. There's a lot of black French defenders that are coming through, Zuma, Obakama, yeah, and they're all in the same boat for me. And obviously, even Zuma, he's got caps, but this guy has not been capped by his international team. Personally, if we're going to get a central defender, it needs to be someone special that's just going to come straight in the team. So the only guys that I can think of is Koulibaly and Varane. They're proven top quality.
Yeah.
Other than that, these other guys, I just think they're on the same level of Bailly and Lindelöf. Because you got to think about it like this. Bailly and Lindelöf have been there 4 or 5 years, and they're getting 26, 27. Yeah, they're getting into their prime now. So if we buy someone else, it's just going to kind of stop the progress. And don't forget about Axel Tuanzebe. I think he's just on the same level as Koundé. I think, look, he's 23. He's got great potential. You saw the game against PSG, what he did. You know, I think he's got really good attributes as a young centre-back coming through. So if we buy him, what is that saying about Tuanzebe's development? So I just think, for me personally, it's only 2 guys. If we're going to buy a centre-back, it's got to be world-class proven. And it's got to be Varane or Koulibaly, and that's it. Because the other guys, they're just all in the same bracket. I don't think they're good enough. They're unproven. It's risky. I don't think that Koundé, I don't know if he's as good as Bailly on this day. But he's been there a long time. So it's too unproven for me. So I'm happy with the 4 centre-backs that we've got, unless it's Koulibaly or Varane.
So I'm going to just pick up on it because Anton just said something as well, obviously, about getting priced out and things like that, which I do believe exactly what he's saying, because if they now come back and say 50 million, United ain't going to spend 50 million on defender. They're not going to spend. They'll go and get someone cheaper.
Well, I don't know, but I think the priority position is the attack.
Yeah.
I feel that's what Ollie's trying to do, because he tried hard to get Sancho last year, and I think Sancho is still the number 1 target. I believe it's in that position that we're going to focus on, maybe getting Sancho again, or possibly HAALAND, possibly. But I just feel that I'm not sure that the defense is the priority. I think if we're talking about giving Bailly a new contract and we've got Tuanzebe there coming through as well, I think we're just going to leave the defenders for now. I think the priority position, it will be the creativity in attack.
I might have a question for Koundé about Tuanzebe. Do you think it's Solskjaer's inability to recognise his talent that he's not getting played, or do you think he's just not actually that good? Because anybody can have an amazing game, as he did against PSG when he pocketed Neymar and Mbappe, but the other times...
Say it again!
But other times, we've seen him come onto the pitch maybe the last 10, 15 minutes, and he's been responsible either via a deflection or a mistake. Can't remember the team, but he fouled
Leicester.
It was Leicester and Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean...
So, Anton, I'm going to get back on you on that. My issue with Solskjaer, I think the problem is, as a defender, after that PSG game, Tuanzebe was outstanding. Then the next day game, he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So he's a young player coming through. He needs that run of games to get his confidence, get his form and everything like that. If you're coming on as a defender, it's very difficult to come on to the game, get adjusted to the game with the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. And
for me personally, those things that deflected off Tuanzebe, if you analyse those goals, I never thought they were his fault. That one against Leicester, Bailly, lost his man Vardy, and it took a ricochet of Tuanzebe, unfortunately deflected off him. And then the one against Sheffield United, it was the midfield that wasn't picking up. And the guys shot it inside the area, it's deflected off Tuanzebe. It means his positioning is good, but it's just unfortunate that those 2 deflections have come off him. But I don't see that as error.
Yeah,
I think we'd have to put that onto Solskjaer. And I
think it's to do with the squad rotation. It's just like You've got to start playing these guys. If you have an outstanding game, you can't drop in the next game. He's got to be in the team. So he needs a run of games. When he gets to run a good 5, 6, 7 games, then we can see how good he is. But you can't put him on for 10, 15 minutes and then give him a full game the next 4 or 5 games. It will be hard to pick up form.
Yeah. Let's go to Amonde now. Amonde's been waiting patiently.
Yeah, very patiently. Good discussion there. Guys, here's
Excellent.
the thing. With you're comparing Lindelöf and Tunde. Is it? Am I pronouncing his name right?
Kunde. Jules Kunde.
Your guy.
Now, that's my guy. I've been saying it for a long time. Shorter than the average Premiership centre-back or traditional Premiership centre-back, but a baller. Strong, organised, talks a lot, maybe in French or Spanish, whatever he's talking now. But I think he can do the job. He's the one, from time I've scouted out and said, yeah, I like this guy. This is one for the future. And I think if you look at all our list is based on young potential players that are going to come through. We're not buying, like, to respond to Kounde, he's saying about buying these ready-made players who are world-class and proven. But I'm not into all that. I think that's not our philosophy. That's a Jose Mourinho thing, you know? So I know you can get more security by buying these guys, but I'd rather, as Man United, our ethos is to bring in these youths and make them develop and become better players at our club, you know? So the ones on all the people we'll be discussing tonight are all young, potential, and can improve. That's what I see from our and that goes in line with our transfer policy. As for Koundé, I've watched him at Seville. Obviously, Sky don't do La Liga much more anymore, so you have to really dig to get an understanding of the game. He's playing Champions League football. He's a leader. I've seen the most recent games I've watched in the Champions League and the group stages. I'm watching him closely. He's leading the line. He's looking. He's talking. He's organised. He's quick to bite and pinch to tackle. He doesn't really make that many mistakes. So I don't. Who's to say where he's better than Lindelöf? He's playing in a different league. This is what I'm saying. You can't compare. When you see the stats, you have Lindelöf and Koundé, but it's different leagues. So it's really difficult to compare. It's the standard. Football's different. Everything's differently, created differently in the two leagues. So things hard to compare. But on the eye test, which I deal with, I don't deal with stats. On the eye test, I truly believe this guy is our guy. We should maybe go for. I think he got a £70-something million transfer
clause. Yeah, he has.
But maybe we can get him for a lot less. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to pay that sort of money to grab him. You know, Seville might be, the Spanish league, all these big clubs are struggling out there. So they might take a little 40 million for him. Who knows? But I think it's at Bordeaux or one of these clubs beforehand. So my question would be, why are we missing out on these players? They've obviously come from somewhere else. It's like with the Angel Gomez thing. We've missed that, we're missing the boat.
Scouting.
Yeah. Well, so that, behind the scenes, what we discussed in the first segment of the show, that needs to be sorted out. Because that way we're bypassing and buying players at a bigger price later on once they've proven it, which, potentially they would. So this Koundé, he's proven it. He's playing in Champions League. He's playing in the high level in La Liga. So to me, that's proven enough for me. And an eye test, he's a good player. And for me, I'd bring him in and let Lindelöf, like you say, battle it out with him. The only thing me and Koundé used to argue about is the height, and but I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore. Because my argument to that would be you've got Liverpool and Man City playing defensive midfielders in midfield, and they're balling it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And reading the game. It's not necessarily about high balls all the time or long balls or winning crosses and that kind of thing. The game's kind of developed and changed a bit. It's more about now bringing the ball out for defence and being composed on the ball. And all these Tunde or Kounde, what do you call him?
Koundé.
You don't even know the name. I know you're not serious.
Maybe it's you, Minano, But yeah, that's my shout on it. So I like.
Okay, so sorry, I'm just gonna go back at Juma there.
Yeah,
that's my whole point is about the ethos, our philosophy. Solskjaer's been doing that since he's coming in. He's buying the right type of players.
It's not
Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. Try to get Sancho, brought Greenwood through. Dan James fits into like an age philosophy. So it's completely different from Mourinho. What I'm saying to you is that Koundé and Tuanzebe, similar age, similar sort of attributes, right? Same bracket. So what's the point of investing in something that's unproven when we've got something there that has potential, who's played in the Champions League like Koundé and marked Neymar and Mbappe out of the game?
Say that again.
He had them in his pocket. It was just like he was scrolling. You know what I mean?
Let me respond to that.
Okay.
He's proven. like I just said, he played in La Liga, game in, game out. He is proven he's played in the Champions League, game in, game out. You know, your guy that we're talking about, Tunzevi, he hasn't played every single game in the Premiership or the Champions League. So who's proven and who's not? Yeah. So that bracket, just break up that bracket, you know? Anyway.
Yeah, but we don't know. That's what I'm saying. How do you know Tunzevi can't do what Koundé does if he's given a run of games?
But that goes back to what...
if you buy Koundé, you're letting Tunzevi go, who's got great potential, and he could go on to be like play for England, and you know, just look what happened.
Hold on. I think like what my man said. Sorry,
Anton.
Yeah, Anton. You made a good point about Bailey's injury record. You were saying Lindelof thing. I've always said Lindelof works well with Maguire. So I think if anyone needs to go, it's Bailey. Injury record, you know, prone to mistakes. Same as Lindelof, but I like Lindelof better. More experienced, more composed, more positional thing. And I think and that way you can bring in your youth man to come through. Even though he's not a youth man anymore, he's 23. You can bring him in and still keep you happy, so you can be skinning every week.
Maybe.
Let's move on. I made my point. I want that point. Yeah.
So let's do some of these questions because let's skip that. Let's go to this one.
Mad B, how you doing, man?
Hi, Mad B.
He says, I hope Ibs and Anton talk sense. They do. Trust me.
They do.
Facebook user says, you live in the clouds. Who's he referring to?
No idea. Hold on.
I'm tall, but not that tall. Bob Spur TV. I like your comments from the other day, man. Greetings again. He says, hi, guys. As you can see, I'm Spurs. Question is, how much money do Man United realistically have in the summer? Do they have Haaland money? Just intrigued by a potential top 4 challenging teams.
I reckon I could give a little shout on this one. Over the past probably 3 to 5 years, our net spend has been around the 60 to 70 million mark. So we only have Haaland money depending on who we offload. And right now, I can't think of a player that we get a decent amount of money for. And I say that because I can't see us selling 4 or 5 players to accumulate enough money to have Haaland's money plus a centre-back like Koundé or a centre defensive midfielder. So I don't think we have the Haaland money, no. And I'd say we might push over 80, 90 million net spend this summer just because of how close we are in terms of our league position to winning the Premier League title.
Do that lightly.
So it all depends on how much of a say people like Darren Fletcher have on who we recruit and who we let go. So it's all up in the air at the moment because we haven't had a transfer window with all of these new staff members yet. So I'd say around 90 million net spend.
Good comment. Good one. Okay, let's go to the next one now because guys, if you're watching, please like, please share, please subscribe. This is FTB Sports and this is your transfer show. So let's go to one thing I need to do quickly. So let's go to the next one now. When I think I can get out because there's so many things going off at the moment. Let's go. Please, guys, do not laugh at the next one.
Oh God!
Hold on one second. Let's take this comment away.
This one, Solo. We don't need any stats.
So the next one, guys, is obviously failed transfer last season of Sancho. For me, he's a player I think United need. We need a desperate right midfield player. At the moment, when you look at, say, for instance, the left-hand side of our midfield, Luke Shaw and Rashford work so well together. Yes. But when you look at Wan-Bissaka is struggling, even though I've never had any complaints about him, but because he doesn't have anyone consistently playing there with him, it's very difficult for Daniel James. And the reason I chose Daniel James over Greenwood, because Greenwood hasn't played as many games as what Daniel James has this season. So let's start off with Ives. What's your thought process on this transfer? Do you think, one, Manchester United can afford him, as we're talking about net spend and everything? Two, could he potentially be the different maker? Because when I look at him, and for me, it's a case of, Could you see him fitting around Bruno Fernandes, him, Pogba? We got Van der Beek there as well. Could this be the title-winning team for Manchester United, Ives? Let's take you off this here quickly.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely Sancho. Obviously, we failed to sign him in the summer. And well, this summer, I think his price could potentially reduce, obviously because of COVID and what's happened. But yeah, he's definitely the player that we need. Dan James, like we discussed this on our channel. Dan James, he literally just runs with his head down. He doesn't run with his head up. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's going to do with the ball when he gets it. All he knows is run with the ball and hope for the best. I literally don't know what he's trying to do. But with someone like Sancho, literally he 20 goals and 20 assists, I think it was in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
He's the
And
type of winger.
they're sitting fifth in the league.
Yeah. He is the type of winger that we're missing on. We haven't had a proper right winger since Antonio Valencia. And then Valencia played right back, so that shows how long it's been since a proper right mid. So having someone like Sancho will fill that hole because we have Bruno Fernandes, we have Martial, we have potentially Cavani and Rashford. I see Martial and Rashford as wingers who are goal scorers, not creators, where Sancho is a creating winger. He creates chances. So Bruno right now is currently isolated as the only creator in the team. So having someone like Sancho takes so much weight off Bruno, and now it will just create even more chances. And I think that's the perfect player we need.
Woo!
Perfect.
Hey, Solo. Who said they don't know nothing about football? Who said that? Bring back that comment.
Big up, man.
Big up, man, with that comment. Love that.
That was wicked. That was wicked. Anton?
I'm going to have to kind of echo what Ibs just said. I'm not a fan of Dan James, and I don't know many people that are.
Can I interrupt you 1 second? Do you know what he's calling our show? The Welsh Flash.
Yeah, no, he is. He is the
That's not a compliment. It's not a compliment.
It's a compliment to him because that's all he's good at, running at high speeds. I mean, I think what people forget about Dan James is that when we actually signed him, he wasn't meant to be the only winger or right winger that we brought in that summer. It just so happens that we don't have very good negotiating skills, and he was just the one that was left. We got off to a great start, and that probably, convinced the board thinking, Dan James is actually quite good. We've only gone for 15 mil. He's a bit of a steal. He's just scored 3 and 3, and he's looking like a real gem. So then we go into the next couple of transfer windows with Sancho in the back of our mind, but also thinking, we've seen what Dan James can do. Let's just leave him. And we've got Greenwood as well coming through as well. Even though he's not a natural right winger, he is a natural centre forward / striker. We have him to play on the right as well. And he's been doing quite well. But the Sancho saga, I'm a bit negative when it comes to transfers because of how we deal with it. I can't sit through another whole summer of every day Fabrizio Romano talking about Sancho and then this happening, his transfer prices increased by 5 million. We don't want to pay the extra 5. I can't sit for another summer of that.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I can't think of another player in world football right now who is actually available to us and would, I think, want to come to us for a justifiable price. I say justifiable price because he's top 3. Oh, I've got to be careful here. I don't want to
speak it.
He's top 3 youngsters in the world, in my opinion. In the world. Not just Europe. I don't like when people say Europe, but the whole world. He's absolutely amazing. He's an English boy in terms of he grew up here. And Manchester United, he will know about Manchester United. He will know the history. He will know what it means. Yes. Not the United DNA, but he'll understand the magnitude of wearing that number 7 when Cavani leaves and putting in a performance. We can only, and I'm going to move on a tiny bit to a potential striker. We can't sign that striker unless we have someone who's going to put balls in the box and create chances for him. Whoever we sign in different positions, I think entirely depends on who we have on the right wing, because that's the position that we haven't got filled. Probably the only position in the team that isn't filled by a competent player. And I want to get him, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'll be real, if I'm very, very honest.
Yeah. And just to touch on what you're saying about, obviously, Cavani will be gone. He will go back to Boca Junior. So let's go to Monday now. The potential signing of this absolute, well, I'm going to call him a youngster because you have to
listen. I'm so happy with the dudes on the show tonight, man. I don't need to speak because these guys have just dropped some knowledge to the people out there. Everyone's gone silent on the comments. They can't say nothing. What you just said, perfect. I couldn't agree anymore. What you're saying about the need for, like, Greenwood is not like he's more of a striker. He's not really a provider, creator kind of thing. And Sancho fits the bill. He fits the bill perfectly. Whether we get him or not, I don't know. There's this thing. We just speculate. But he ticks all the boxes, all the criteria required for what we need to do to move forward. He's the man. And if, I don't know, there's no smoke without fire, is there? It happened last season. If we would have paid the extra, whatever, I don't know what squad in, but that should have been the signing. That should have been the signing. Now, I've got a bit of taste in my mouth with Sancho because now it hasn't happened. I'm like, allow it, let's move on. And we have, and I want to invest my time and love and passion into the youth. What's the name? The youth man.
Ahmed Diallo.
That's how I'd rather invest in him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he's inside forward, left footer, youngster, and I think we bought him for a certain amount of money, which means we have to start bringing him in. Don't put him in the bench don't put him in the reserves on 23s anymore. He needs to play next season based on the money and based on the investment we've made in him. So there's no more. So James, you need to start weeding this guy out because it's clearly not good enough if we're going to be winning major trophies. But Sancho, if you look at the stats with James, like you said, you can't compare different leagues and everything else, but it's like day and night to me with these guys. I mean, James should be in the Olympic relay team or team, and Sancho should be playing like in the World Cup and the Euros and all that kind of thing, and playing for Man United if we can get him. Simple as that.
Yeah. Quick one before I go to KOUNDÉ, because also with that as well, you got to remember he stayed in London like a week extra because he thought the deal was going to go through at Man United, but I think it was around 15 million difference Ed Woodward wouldn't pay for the deal. KOUNDÉ?
Yeah, just agree with what everyone said. I've been saying it for a long while that United lack creativity in the wide areas, and I think Sancho's the perfect guy for that. Because I like the whole inside forward thing with Greenwood on the right and Ahmed's competing with Greenwood. And I personally would buy Sancho to play on the left, and I would move Rashford back up front. That's my personal thing. And let Rashford and Martial compete for a position, because I'm not even thinking about Dan James. And I mean, you take the piss out of him pulling the Welsh flash. I've actually got a new name for him. It's called Forrest James, because he reminds me of Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? It's like that scene in Forrest Gump when he runs the whole length of the field and he doesn't know when to stop running. It's like, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't got that wisdom, So so yeah, I really think Sancho, he's got to be the priority. He's because of his creativity. He's young. He's English. He's seen as homegrown because he's been on the Man City. I think he fits perfectly for what our philosophy is. And I would either loan out James or sell him if Sancho arrives. And don't forget about Palestri as well, because Palestri, he's another guy that could come through, and you think he's got a bit of more of a brain than James and a better football brain, better football IQ. So agree with what the guy said. I've been saying it for a while. We lack creativity in the wide areas, and I think Sancho is the perfect guy to really. If you look at how many assists he gets, it's like 20 a season. Rashford and Greenwood, they're not creators. They've got their other weapons that they've got that cause a threat, but we need the creativity. Sancho's genius.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't hold your breath with Kundo Palestri. I've been watching a bit of Alaves this season because I just like watching football, and I think he was brought in maybe as a bit of a smokescreen. We're looking for the future. It's clear that Diallo's ahead of him in terms of development and I think potential and talent at the moment. I can see Palestri coming back in and getting sold instantly. I don't think he's even on the radar of anyone at Manchester United at the moment.
Wow. Yeah, good point. I've seen stories about that as well. So yeah, it's not gonna go through. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, how you mean? The guy's a baller.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's like what Anton's saying.
Yeah, but no, what he's saying is you have to back up what he's saying here. Why don't you think he's at the level?
From my eye test, I don't think his technical ability is of Manchester United standard, or what we think Manchester United standard should be. We're looking at a Dan James who can dribble a little bit better, maybe throw in a step over. That's what I think for Koundé Pellistri is. I hope I'm proven wrong, because I want the best for Manchester United, and I hope he goes on to, you know, do whatever he can for us. But if we're looking at right wingers, I don't think he's in the conversation. Maybe a bit of a business deal. He's from Uruguay. We don't have, well, before Cavani, I don't think we had any Uruguayan players apart from Pellistri. So maybe it was just a business venture.
What about Varela, the right back that we had for a while? Don't forget about him.
he was all right, but he was frozen out and then eventually sold.
Sorry. Pellistri, I'm just going to touch on it.
And me as well.
I watched him in the youth, in the under-23s. And from what I could see from the coach, they're saying that I think that he's going to need some time to develop and adjust his game, because he's coming straight from Uruguay, you know, and he went straight in the first team at Penarol, Uruguay, and he's coming here, and they think that he's going to need some time. Then I've watched him since he's been on loan for Alaves in Spain, and he looks a bit more comfortable with the pace. Yes. It looks like the Spanish league is for him, you know. And I think in a couple of years he could be a very, very good player, like a good baller. Because I think what it is with people sometimes is like when we announced that we signed Ahmad and Pellistri, everyone goes straight to YouTube and looks at the highlights and think, wow, Ahmad looks amazing. And he did. Ahmad looks like the more developed guy, the skillful guy. Pellistri just looks like he runs and all that. But you can't let YouTube videos deceive you. I've watched Pellistri's game a lot, and I think that he can be very, very important player. He's got some intelligence. I'm trying to think of a player that he reminds me of, but I think he's got a lot more to him. But the only thing that I'm kind of slightly worried about was his physicality. Is he going to be able to beat players? I know he's got the pace and all that, but when you're playing in the Prem as a winger, you need that physicality thing as well, the strength as well as the pace. So that's the thing I'm worried about, a little bit worried about. But I want to see more. I think you guys need to watch him at Alaves, and I've watched him a lot, and I think that he's integrated more. His game's more suited for the Spanish game at the moment, but I think he can develop.
Okay, let's go to the last comment from Amanda, and then we're going to move on.
I'm going to move on. I watched the full 90 minutes against Atletico Madrid the other day, and I'm watching him regular as much as I can. And I think he's developing well. He's probably the best player on Alvarez on the weekend. Brilliant, and passing, movement, intelligent. I think the league suited to him. He's going to develop. It's better than watching him going straight from Uruguay league to coming here. He's playing in the Liga. Might not be for the better team, but he's shining, and people are looking at him. If you look at the Spanish reports on him, they're saying this guy's a good player. You know what I'm saying? So I like what he's got. He's not rapid like Saha or one of these guys, but he makes up for that with a bit of a know-how, a bit of intelligence, and I like that. As we were saying, because we've got these guys who are not like creative wingers. I think he could develop into that role. So I'm more hopeful. I'm not looking to sell him. I'm more hopeful that maybe next year, maybe go on loan again to a top better club and see how he develops. We've only just bought him, and I watched. Trust me, I watched the full 90 minutes, and I like him. And
he's a teenager. Give him a couple of years. He's only a teenager. Yeah.
Before we move on to the next one, can I just say something? Because I think what Anton's saying, it's got to me, because obviously I used to watch Diego Forlan at Man United. Diego Forlan weren't nothing special at Man United. He went to Spain and he was world class. So because that league suits him better than the Premier League. Again, it's the same thing with trying to think of the young Januzaj. Januzaj went there and he looks world class in his first 10 games. Man United.
But I think the thing with Januzaj is he started well at United. He went straight into the team in Moyes' first season, and I thought he was going to become world class. And Van Persie was bigging him up and all that. But when we had to change of managers and Van Gaal and all that, it kind of hindered his development. So I think he kind of lost his confidence in a way, and he got loaned out to Sunderland, and something hindered his development. It's just the same as Saha. Ferguson stayed in with when he bought Wilfried Saha. He would have obviously played, but you know, unfortunately Moyes came in and Moyes didn't like him for whatever reason. We could only speculate, but yeah, I would just say that Januzaj had the potential to go right to the top, but I think the changing of managers to hinder the development, because he played under Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho, and it just didn't really work out for him.
Okay.
Solo,
Let's do. Go on.
So one thing to add to that. Ajax, they don't buy players, they don't bring players through on physicality like the Premiership. They bring players through, they teach them IQ and knowledge. When these players, when they do get their physical, they're better than most of our players out here. The Premiership's changing. You look at Man City, most of the guys are like 5'7", 5'8". They're not giants out there, but they make the they can end up doing the job that others can do. Which is why I say, for example, Van der Beek can play as a number 6. Rather than Fred. We don't need a defensive guy or he's going to be defensive. These guys can all do the job if we push on it. That's all.
But my thing is, Pep Guardiola is a manager of Man City. That's why we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United. So there's a massive difference.
Yeah.
So guys, let's go on to the last few comments. A comment here for us, please, and then we'll move on to the next one.
This is our regular
Mr. B. Big up, Mr. B.
Usually sitting where Anthony is right now, or where I am. Mr. B. Big up. How are you, sir? Says, evening, gents. United aren't buying no player over 40 million. Sad but true.
Yeah, it's not a bad point. As we've got Darren.
Darren, regular he's a regular from us.
Hello, Darren. Hello, Darren. How you doing? Big up, Darren. Welcome.
Nice to see you. Breezy Page says, can you see Van der Beek leaving in the summer?
No.
No chance.
Not yet.
So guys, let's go on to the last one now. If you're watching, please like, please share, please subscribe. Remember, being a chance to win a football shirt with your name and number on the back of it. All you got to do is subscribe to our channel, and the minute we hit 500 subscribers, we'll be giving you away a free shirt. Okay, guys, let's go to the last one. Okay, so looking at these stats now, Martial last season had a phenomenal season for Man United, his best season he's had in years at United. But this youngster, we cannot get over HAALAND now. Obviously, his dad was a Manchester City legend, but my worry is if Man United do not buy him and he end up going to Man City, you might as well write the league off now. That's all I'm telling people. Write the league off, because Man City will win the league for the next 6-7 years running. End of, because this guy is a beast. He's a monster. He's got it all. If we sit there and we look at Zlatan, this guy's going to be better than Zlatan. Well, his record already is better than Zlatan's. So if you look at him, played 90 minutes. Both of them played 90 minutes. Goals per game is he's scoring 1.1, where you got Martial scoring 0.3. Assists 0.2 to a 0.3. Conversion rate is a 30. Wow, look at that. Conversion rate 36.8 to 64.4. Accuracy 63. Listen, guys, the stats just there. And I know on Monday, I'm going to start off with you, because you always say you watch with your eye and you don't look at stats. But when you look at these stats, you've got to appreciate how good this guy is. You've got to sit there, take your hats off to him and say, you know what, world class.
Yeah.
And he's only young. So imagine if Man City get him now. Man City will win the league for the next God knows how many years. So let's start off with you first on Monday.
So that's an example there. I mean, that's the stats and the eye.
You want me to put it up for you?
No. I don't need stats. Like I say, Martial is not a number 9. He can't do the job. All right. And there's this guy HAALAND. He knows what to do as a number 9. You know. And a lot of people saying, we have a lot of debate on this show about this topic. But I'd rather have Cavani than Martial, because Cavani is more experienced. He knows what he's doing. But a lot of people say, oh no, he's not doing bits, and Martial does more. Martial is always ends up going out wide anyway. He needs to turn on the man, get the ball, try and dribble. That's his game. He can't expect it to change it just like that. Look at his finishing. It's shocking. He tries to pass the ball into the net, but keepers just bend down, pick it up. You know, he's not a clinical striker like sir. You know, so that's another thing from Ollie. Why are you playing him there? Because he told you he wants to play there? You know, what kind of manager are you? You see what I'm saying? So HAALAND, if we can get him, obviously, like you said, Solo, the man's a beast. I've watched him play. He's all about goals, similar to Van Nistelrooy. Hungry, greedy, you know, determined. I've seen like him at the weekend, bullying guys. He's on the way strong. You know, I don't see these guys. So Greenwood, who's supposed to be our number 9 or our future, he's a long way off this guy, and there's not much difference in age. So you need to learn and realize number 9 is still a position that's relevant in today's football, despite what people say. And this guy's proving it, you know. So it's not about being static or anything else. He just wants goals, and he needs a service. Play him in, and he's going to do something, do the business. Martial, he's got to fight out with Rashford or whoever's on the left wing. That's as far as I'm concerned. And that's my talk done, because I've said it before over and over again, and I want to give these guys on the show more airtime. So go on, boys, tell us.
Let's go to Koundé, and then we're going to come to you guys last.
Yeah, obviously I like the look of Haaland. I think he's obviously got great potential, and his stats is scary for his age. I still watch him now, and I still think that he's still not the finished article, because there's sometimes I see him miss quite a few good chances, but he's a beast, and whatever team he goes into, he'll do well. I'm still not sure that Guardiola wants him. I'm not sure if he's the Man City type of striker. I know Guardiola likes Jesus and all that. I'm not sure that Guardiola's going to go for him. I don't know if he's his type of player. Because I remember when Guardiola was at Bayern and he had Lewandowski, he didn't like to really use him that much. And then there was one game he came on, he scored like 5 goals or whatever, but it took him a while to like warm to Lewandowski. I don't think he's a Guardiola style player. But anyway, if it's up to me, my issue with the whole thing is everyone talks about Haaland and Solskjaer's relationship, but if that was such a strong relationship, he would have come to us before he went to Dortmund.
Yeah.
And even when he was at Mulder, because why did we fail to get him when he was at, was it Leipzig?
Yeah.
Red Bull Salzburg.
Salzburg. He was at Salzburg, and I know we were in for him, but he chose to go to Dortmund, or something happened.
If only you know
what I mean. It's the same with Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham came to Old Trafford and visited, and we thought we were going to get him, but he ended up going to Dortmund as well. So I haven't feared him, because I've read, I know from some sources, Fabrizio Romano, that they think that Haaland's going to stay one more season at Dortmund, because next year in the summer he's got a clause in his contract where
63 million.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the time he'll go. Remember, he's only been at Dortmund a season and a half, because he got there last January. So I think he'll give it another season. He's still only 20. He's no rush. And then someone will buy him for that amount of money, 66 million. I hope it's us. But at this moment, I still believe that we need Sancho ahead of him, because we don't have the creativity to supply Haaland with the goal.
Yes,
agree.
We don't have the creativity to supply the goal. So Sancho's the main man, and then let Martial and Rashford compete for the place. Sancho over Haaland for this summer.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to Ives. Let's go to you first, and then we'll finish off with Antonio.
Man.
Yeah. So I think I'll start with Martial. Like, as United fans, we're so disappointed. Like, off the back of last season, he had his greatest season, playing number 9, scored all those goals, and then we bring in Cavani, and then he just drops off. I don't get how we can bring in a striker, and he doesn't want to compete with that striker and just drops in form, and doesn't want to push him from how he had a great season. He was Player of the Year, and with Haaland, there's no, obviously you can't compare Haaland and Martial. Haaland definitely beats Martial. Obviously Haaland this summer, obviously looking unlikely this summer, but obviously next summer, he's definitely a signing we should go for. And yeah, as you said, if City gets him, then it's game over for everyone. But we can't make it like how we're competing against City to get him, because that happened with Sanchez, and obviously we got Sanchez
as well
to stop him from going to City. But I'm sure next season, like next summer, we have to be in the race for Haaland. We have to.
Yeah, 100% agree. Let's go to Anton now. Absolutely brilliant there.
Obviously, I'm going to agree with everyone here. Haaland is way better than Anthony Martial. I don't think, well, signing him isn't going to be easy because of the player he is, his profile, his record, and his potential. But we also have to remember that Mino Raiola is his agent. Mino Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with Manchester United. And I'm not 100% sure that Manchester United like to deal with Mino Raiola clients, because he's an agent that wants the most money for himself. Yes, he has good players, but if Haaland came to us, we'd only have him for about 2 or 3 years. Manchester United would want to buy someone with the potential of his to have him for about 6 or 7 years to take us through the next decade. Mino Raiola clients, I think Haaland's just going to be another Ibrahimovic in terms of every 2 years he's off to a different club, because it gets the agent the most amount of money. I don't think we're going to be able to get him, because it's just going to be a big auction. There's going to be Madrid, PSG, City, maybe even Liverpool, every big club in the world is going to be in for Haaland. And if we have any more than 1 or 2 teams competing with us, you might as well count us out, because it's almost like we back into a corner and just think, wow, we actually have competition. We're just gonna have to leave because we can't compete with these guys. Obviously, I do want Erling Haaland up front, but I think it was KOUNDÉ that said it. We have to wait until we get someone else like Sancho to supply the ball to him, because he's the person that gets on the end of stuff. Yes, he has a few assists here and there, but he's not the type of striker that's gonna dribble past 5 guys and then lay off someone else. Everyone else does that, and he's just a devastating person on the end of it. There was a stat which was, I think, the conversion rate. Martial's was 12%, I think.
Yeah.
Haaland's was 60-something percent.
36.
There you go. There we go. I'm just going to say now, Martial just focuses on getting those shots on target, but Haaland wants to score. There's a difference in mentality between those two players, and that's just evident for the conversion rate. Haaland hits the corners, and his type of mentality is, you can win 5-0, but if he doesn't score, he's angry, and he's going to score 4 goals the next game. Martial, I think, is, I have a few shots on target. That's it. If I score, I score. And that's the difference, I think, in a striker like Martial, who's very good, has all the talent in the world, and still has the potential, because he's not old. But when you have someone like Haaland with that elite mentality of someone looks like he's been in the game for 25 years. Like, he looks like almost a complete striker. I would do a lot to have Haaland at Manchester United to replace Martial. Martial plus 50 million, Martial plus 60. Dortmund to
bargain.
Yeah, bargain. Get rid of Martial. If you said to me, would you get rid of Martial for Haaland, in a heartbeat, I wouldn't even blink. You don't think about those things, because
same.
City might win the league next 10 years if they have Haaland, but if we get Haaland, that gap that's in the Premier League table at the moment is non-existent, because Haaland finishes all the chances that Martial doesn't take.
Yeah.
And we need him expeditiously, but we also need the right winner. We need the winner.
Sorry, can you just quickly touch on the story and the background story why we didn't get Haaland when he was at Red Bull? I know you're going to say.
I'm pretty sure he got, I think it might have been Bellingham as well, but they got a tour of Carrington and they spoke of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But Dortmund have their club, they're a feeder club. No matter how good they are in the Champions League and the Bundesliga, they're a feeder club. They get players who aren't quite there yet for really cheap, 20 million, 30 million, and then give it 2 years. You look at Dembele, Aubameyang, Jadon Sancho potentially, and Erling Haaland. They're going to make at least 80 million profit on each of those players.
Yes.
Their team, their coach, whatever they do, I don't know, because I've never seen them. I've never been there. I don't know their coaches. But whatever they do in that club propels players to different levels maybe you wouldn't have even thought they could get to. If Haaland came to Manchester United, he wouldn't be posting those goals. He wouldn't have those stats, and that's just a fact. So we don't create the chances. We don't have a team that's good enough. We don't have management that's good enough. The coaching staff isn't good enough. Yeah. All of that is you can't compare it to Borussia Dortmund. Haaland himself, he seems like an intelligent player. He has the right mentality. He would have known that Dortmund would have been the best destination. He's not thinking about my agent's money. He's probably not thinking about his wages at the moment because of who he appears to be. But I just, even if I'm a Manchester United fan, if you said to me, 20 years old, you can go to Dortmund or Manchester United, I'd choose Dortmund because I know that I'm going to become a better player there. And then you move to that top club. Also, agent's Mino Raiola. We don't like him. He doesn't like us, and he wants as many transfers as possible for his player because he gets more money. Agent fees.
Simple as that, yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap up now. So, Armando, would you mind hitting the last few comments?
The real pundit David, my man. I spoke to you earlier on the phone. I got the word. Yep, we're on the right page. He says, Amondi, aka Anti-Stats. Yeah, that's me. Darren L, big up Darren L, says, what about the defensive midfielder situation? Anybody? I'm going to say
James Garner. Watch James Garner. Yeah, Trust me. Watch the guy. He's got
he was captain the other day.
Throw out a name.
Ndidi.
Ndidi.
Busuma at Brighton.
There's another Brighton player. He hasn't. I don't think he's played in the Premier League yet. Moises Casido. We were linked to him from Ecuador, I think.
Oh yeah.
We should have got him. He's only 4.5 million. I don't know why we didn't buy him.
He said himself he wants to. It's his dream to play for Manchester United, but he doesn't feel like it would be good for him to go there now. I'm confused because all that means to me is if I'm Manchester United, buy him for 4.5 million, loan him out for a couple of years.
Exactly.
But now we're going to pay 35, 40. Something like that in a couple of years. It makes
sense for recruitment. And apparently we didn't buy him because we said that we won't be able to give him any playing time at the moment.
Loan him out, like
give playing time at Brighton right now.
None of us work for Manchester
United. Not yet. He's gonna start playing from next season.
He's what's your defensive midfield option?
Ndidi.
Okay. Breezy Page says, would you sell Maguire in the summer? Hell no.
Nope. No, he's our best defender. Easy.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but I wouldn't sell it.
Hi, David again says, we need a real number 9, ASAP.
Yes, Christopher. Welcome, King.
Christopher King, Arsenal supporter and solid top man, says Ndidi. Yeah, we agree.
Bissouma, yeah, I like Bissouma.
All right, stop throwing out names. Stop showing off.
He's showing off now.
I believe Trossard is Leandro Trossard, isn't he the Brighton winner?
Yeah. So
anyone to get rid of Fred.
Sorry, can I just make one more point? Trossard slept on as a I think until we get a formula of play, no one's been what's his name? Haaland's not gonna be able to finish off any chances.
Yep.
So we need to have some pattern of play and some philosophy. It's my thing about him. He ain't got no tactics for someone to finish their dinner, finish off moves, but there are no moves. Anyway.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to wrap up the show. This was Manchester United. I'm sorry on Monday. This is your Manchester United transfer show. Today we'll join with 2 special guests, Ibs and Antonio. Thank you very much for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the show. You can catch these guys on All Things Football. They're on YouTube and also Instagram. Absolute pleasure. Hopefully we'll be working with them in the future as well. Charles Williams, but we'll come back to that in a second. Obviously, as special as always on Monday, KOUNDÉ. Thank you very much. Guys, Charles Williams, who would you buy?
Who would buy Maguire? No one wants him.
No one wants him because we've got him. So guys, listen, it's absolutely been a pleasure having you guys on.
Big time.
And listen, guys, we pray these 3 signing, if they come through, we can win the league. But it's a big if though, guys. So guys, thank you very much. This has been FTB Sports. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you for the England international reaction show as well. But before I go, guys, couple of updates for us. So the first one we need to look for, if I can find it, we will be bringing out a brand new YouTube channel, and it's a Spurs, and it's called Paxton Road TV, and that will be launching on this coming Monday at, I believe they're going to be launching about 7:15 or 8:15 this coming Monday. Brilliant. Also, big news for us as well, guys. The Man United, we will be coming with a new show on YouTube called the Manchester United Agenda Show. So that will be a brand new YouTube channel, but we're still part of FTB Sports. So you can catch us as well there, guys. So please like, share, subscribe. And we've still got more comments coming in. There's still comments coming in.
Charles Williams said, who would buy Maguire? He laughed. Good shout, guys. Regarding don't know who, but big up.
Great
Charles.
contents. Okay, thanks, guys.
Big up.
Pleasure. And guys, we're going to play the best theme song in world football.